Hey everyone, welcome to another One Piece theories, or whatever I'm calling this, or anime theories. We'll think whatever One Piece theories. I want to talk to you guys about this one. I guess it's not really a theory. I guess you can call it a theory, but it's something that I've noticed no one's ever talked about, as far as I can see, and it's not one of the bigger topics. And one person brought it up, one child brought it up, and said it's not going to happen because of a group of things. I want to talk about a potential fight between Yasopp and Usopp. Yes, you heard me right. A potential fight between father and son, the two greatest snipers to exist in One Piece. Well, besides the one that we don't know much about, which is on Blackbeard's crew, but we can't say much about him yet, because we don't really know what his full abilities is. That's one thing I'm really curious about. Is like, we've seen him actually almost lay a bullet on Ace, but we don't know much about him. But that's not about him. It's about a potential fight between Yasopp and Usopp. Now you're probably wondering, why would you want to pit these two together against each other? To me, it's almost common sense at this point. I foresee a fight between the red-haired pirates and the straw-hat pirates. Some people saying that's not gonna be the case. Why would they fight? Honestly, in my opinion, I think I think Shanks is gonna be the gateway to getting to Raftel. Cause it's in the manga's like beginning, like it says Shanks is waiting for Luffy at Raftel, the final island on the final island on the Grand Line tour. The final island where Gold Roger has said left his treasure there for the person to find to become king of the pirates. My belief is that it's going to take beating them to get to it. Now we all know Shanks has no wants for the pirate king name, at least as far as we are aware. He hasn't brought it up saying he wants to become king, and if he did, he would have already gotten it. I mean, the guy's a Yonko. He's like one of the four emperors of the sea. If he wanted to, he would have already gotten it. So my belief is there's going to be a confrontation between the red hair pirates and the Straw Hats, and this is when the fight between Yasopp and Usopp's going to happen. It's going to happen there. Now, I talked this with my friend at great length, and maybe we can have him on this theory thing. We can have a constant series going on with each other, bounce ideas off each other. I wanted to bring up a potential fight, and I would love to hear what you guys think about this fight. Yasopp versus Usopp. Now, this is going to be a funny fight in my opinion, because we don't know much about Yasopp's character, and it'd be kind of cool to find out a bunch of stuff from this fight. It'd be kind of a cool way to give Yasopp some development in his character and find out a bunch of stuff about him that we don't know, because let's face it, we don't know much about Usopp's father. We only know about what Usopp told us, and that was a long time ago at this point, from when he first met Luffy. And I believe Usopp's got a great chance of beating his father because he knows him so well. We already know Usopp is really intelligent. He can use knowledge that he knows of somebody that no other person would have access to. To me, that makes Usopp a very valuable fighter. I mean, we've seen this happen when he fought Luffy. One thing I will say was versus Usopp during that fight showcased something about Usopp we really didn't see much much from him up to that point. Usopp's ability to outwit his opponents. I would say Usopp is probably the most intelligent fighter of the entire group. Mainly because he uses advantages, he also uses disadvantages. Also comes out to the point where he is a coward. But I think that really works out for him in the long run. I mean, most fighters go out there and punch, sword fight, whatever. I mean, kick. Usopp doesn't do that. He stays his ground, but he'll run away. And I think that's what makes Usopp a really unique fighter. And potentially the strongest sniper to exist in One Piece. And this is why I believe that it's really just because of the basis that Usopp is the son of Yasopp. Yasopp joined Shanks' crew. Yasopp became part of the crew of one of the emperors of the sea. Shanks went out of his way to come to the East Blue to recruit Yasopp. That tells you Yasopp's potential is at that point must have been at its peak. It's another reason why I think, if they were to fight, Yasopp would lose. Because Yasopp would have already peaked before, back when he got recruited, I believe. He would have already peaked. Maybe he hadn't peaked, and maybe he now knows hockey. This is another thing Usopp's gonna have to learn too before he even attempts to fight his father. I believe that what's going to happen is there's going to be a huge fight between the snipers, and there's going to be a lot of weight. There's going to be a lot of damage to to the terrain after this fight's over. Like, I will say, I think this might be, if they do fight, it'll probably be one of Usopp's most damaging fights ever. He might be able to damage somebody a whole heck of a lot, and this is something we have not seen Usopp do. I would love to see Usopp do that. It just, like, I've been waiting for it really be a moment for him, and maybe we'll get it sooner, but I really would love it to if Oda decided to have have Yasopp and Usopp fight, and maybe, and just maybe they don't have to wait till the Raptor fight. Maybe Yasopp goes somewhere and Usopp ends up meeting him, and they want to have a friendly duel, where they don't kill each other. Because I would love to see maybe at some point before a final confrontation between these two, because I believe it's going to happen. It's probably going to have to happen. Usopp versus his father. I really think this should happen. If he can't, so I really want this to happen. But I really do. But it's gonna happen because I feel like there's gonna have to be a confrontation with Shanks' crew at some point. Why? I don't know. Maybe something happens and it kind of forces Shanks' hand. You never know. You don't know who or like what kind of influence somebody could have over somebody. But that's another discussion about like what kind of influence, what could potentially force Shanks to fight Luffy. But I really do believe that I really do believe Usopp's going to be potentially the strongest sniper in the anime by the end of it. He has shown too much at this point. I mean, this guy managed to snipe a whale's eye with a cannonball. That was before the time skip. Can you imagine what he could probably do now with a cannonball? Plus, Usopp has not. I don't know why he hasn't. He hasn't been given access to a gun. And a lot of people are like, why would you want to give him a gun? Well, this is a pirate era themed anime. At this point, we've seen pistols before. It's not nothing new. But I believe, and this is another thing, I believe Oda hasn't personally given Usopp a gun. And this is also showcased kind of like with the whole cannonball thing. If Usopp was given something of a lot of destructive power, Usopp could be really dangerous. A gun is a perfect example of this. Usopp's father is shown to have, well, not shown, but he's said to have been able to shoot an ant's legs off from a mile away with a sniper, well, not sniper, with a shotgun. And we all know that shotguns don't have scopes, so there's no way, unless Usopp's father had some really interesting. And at this point, we weren't aware of hockey, so I'm pretty sure Usopp's father must have had it by this point. He had to have it at this point. Because there's no other way he could have done that without other than being really lucky. But that's beside the point. But I just really, it would have been a really this could potentially be a really cool fight. It would really make all the Usopp fanboys shout and scream and be happy for Usopp, that Usopp gets to have a moment against his father. This would be awesome. And also this fight could also be a way to potentially have Usopp's father pass on the torch of. Maybe this would be a way that Usopp can get a freaking shotgun if he gets it from his father, and maybe there's some storyline between the shotgun and maybe why Yasopp decided to leave. Because that's another thing. We really don't know why Yasopp agreed to go off with Shanks, because that's really. But then again, you don't really say no to the red hair. You just don't. You don't say no to the red hair. You say yes and go on immediately, but you don't say no to the red hair. But I'm just saying, like, Yasopp has got to be really strong, because why else would Shanks go out of his way to recruit him? Shanks was, as far as I remember, he went out of his way to get Yasopp. Now we don't know what like position that Shanks had been at that point in time, but that's the one thing we also don't know. We don't know Shanks' crew's full strength yet. So I'm just saying, a confrontation between Usopp and Yasopp would be cool. Because some kind of like cool close shots too, like maybe like I kind of make fun of like if they ride at a reptile and all of a sudden a bullet was like a centimeter off of Usopp, and he was like, that was 1 centimeter off, like the next one won't miss, and they just get into an immediate showdown. It'd be kind of the coolest thing ever. It'll really make Usopp really cool, because he's the only one that can potentially fight Yasopp, because like Yasopp probably at this point would probably have been able to fire off a few rounds. It'd just be some cool bullet clashes I would love to see, and we haven't really seen Oda do any really cool bullet clashes, and I don't know why he hasn't, because it's been guns are something in One Piece. We've seen it at this point. Then again, a bullet doesn't really have much on devil fruit powers in hockey, especially since you can coat things with hockey. But that's another thing. We need to know like what's Usopp's final strength going to be? Because we don't really know that yet. We don't know what Usopp's final strength is going to be. We don't even know what Usopp has done on the island this entire time. All we really know is he got some new ammunition. And also some new body stuff apparently, something we didn't know he had until just recently in One Piece. Apparently Usopp's upper body isn't just for show. Actually, he can do some stuff he couldn't do before. But honestly, you know, this would be something I really like to see. And I also like to know your guys' opinion on this idea. What would you say if Usopp fought his father, as one of Usopp's biggest achievements is beating his father in an actual shootout? Because another thing, I mean, Usopp has some respect for his father, so this would be kind of a cool way to, you know, to give Usopp some love, some more development, and maybe the end of his development at this point. Maybe after defeating his father, he'll actually stop being a coward, and maybe he'll start doing a lot more stuff as the series goes on to the end of it. Because it's going to be a war, and honestly, I don't believe Usopp's going to be really much help if he can't get off his coward chair. And so it'd be a really cool way for Yasopp to give him some of that encouragement, and maybe even give him his gun. You never know. I mean, I know a lot of people probably believe this at this point. Like, I don't think Luffy's going to be able to give the hat back, because it just seems like we've spent too much time in the series for Luffy to get his hat back, and he hasn't even given it back yet. Plus, a lot of people believe that Shanks is gonna die. I don't believe that. I don't think Shanks is gonna want the hat back, because he gave Luffy the hat in the first place because he reminded him of Gold D. Roger, which at that point we didn't know. You know, he had some type of connection with Roger until much later. I was just shocked to find out that him and a couple other pirates actually has connections to Gold D. Roger. But that's what about it I wanted to say. I just really love the idea of like an Usopp versus Yasopp fight. And shoot, maybe we don't have to maybe there's another way for Usopp to get another BA moment. For right now, we don't really know much about Usopp's potential as a sniper. Oda said that he wanted to keep Usopp really weak compared to others, and I was really saddened by this. But then again, I started thinking, well, this is an anime. Weaker than others doesn't really necessarily mean that he's going to remain in the human realm of abilities. Like Usopp's sight is already superhuman to begin with. Like, his sight is not normal. Neither is his nose. But like Usopp's sight isn't really normal. Like, sight on Usopp is not normal, and I will iterate this to the end. Usopp's sight is not normal. For whatever reason, he has got some really good eyesight. I mean, and has even more improved when he got observation haki, which is what I believe he got. But I believe it's a form of observation haki we don't really know of yet, because Usopp saw really far and almost pinpointed and saved Luffy's life, actually, which is actually kind of a cool moment for Usopp. Was that he managed to save Luffy's life. But I'm rambling on here. I just want to get this video done quickly. So yeah, what's your thoughts on a potential Usopp versus Yasopp fight? I almost said Usopp versus Luffy. Actually, that'd be kind of cool to have a rematch, a friendly rematch between Luffy and Usopp, just to see, like, could Usopp actually really put him down? Which, by the way, a lot of you people during that first fight who said, "I saw you," who said like Usopp won that fight, you're in Luffy won that fight, you're in denial. Usopp won that fight. Like, you could just see it on Luffy's face. That was not a win for him. That was a loss. Like, he lost the moment he accepted the Usopp challenge. It's really what it came down to. He lost the moment he accepted that fight. But that's just one of my Usopp rambles. Tell me what you guys think about a potential Usopp versus Yasopp fight. You saying Yasopp. And I'll come to you with more potential fights in the future. Maybe some that haven't happened, and maybe some that have already happened. Give me some ideas to characters you would love to hear an opinion on, of like how cool would it have been for them to fight. So I see you guys in the next video.